Yeah, but I prayed for their demise. That's the only work I did.
Yeah, but there also was somebody that said that you really didn't have a job in the chapel. You remember that?
That was that person that had that little Instagram account.
Yeah.
That said that I didn't work in the chapel. Well,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be lying on God's helpers. That you can't be doing that. When you start messing with God's chosen children, He will strike you down. I was in the chapel the entire time. When I got there, I did my processing, which took literally 5 minutes. And they said, we'll walk you up to laundry. So they walked me up to laundry. And I remember seeing those ugly ass green uniforms.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, I said, is this the only one color? And the guy laughed and he said, yeah, it's all one color. And I said, okay. So he gives me my uniforms and I'm walking back and I get to my room and I have all this stuff laying on my bed, like a shaving kit with all my stuff that I would use and tennis shoes and new sweats and stuff. And I'm like, because I had read that you don't be taking nothing for free because then you got to give something up.
Yeah.
And I'm too old to be fighting all these people off. And so I started looking at it and I'm like, well, someone's already here. And they said, no, that's yours. They said, Jig will be over to see you in a little bit. I said, who? They said, Jig. And I said, what is that? And he said, that's his name. I said, his name is Jig? And he said, yeah. I said, okay. So I just still moved it and put it in a chair.
Yeah, sure, I'm not taking this.
Yeah, because, you can't have me for a honey bun. That you just can't do. Now, later on, a good pair of Nikes, we could have talked. But, I get my bed made up and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes walking. He's about 5 feet tall, muscles everywhere. And he goes, you got your stuff? And I said, you must be Jig. He said, one and only. And I said, he said, word had been sent to me, he said, to make sure you had everything that you needed. And I said, should I ask who sent word to you? He said, well, we'll just leave it as a good Samaritan. And I said, okay. I said, well, I can pay you for this. He said, no, you can't. He says, because I'm to look out for you. And I said, well, I can take care of myself. He said, I don't have no doubt. He said, but I still got to do what I got to do. So from that point forward, Jig and I became like best buddies. And finally, after about 7 months of being there, he tells me who had told him to do that. And I said, you've got to be kidding me.